BHS have this fantastic open house today here in Münster, and they have brought in prospects and customers and people, and a lot of people, I would say, in general, from all over the world. And I have now John from Schwarz Corrugated in the US, right?
Correct.
John, how is it to be in Europe?
Well, we love being here. Been here many times, probably especially with the group from BHS. They're great hosts, and we're very excited about being here today and learning some of the new technology that's out there.
I must say that when we came here for the first time yesterday as well, I mean, the venue itself, and I mean, I guess the expectations to go and see new equipment at a printing and a converter must be interesting, right?
It is very interesting, and particularly because we've been cooped up for a few years, we've not been able to be out and see some of the newer technology. So this is kind of a coming out, being able to see some of the new things that we've not been able to see for the last few years. So.
You told me just before we turned on the camera, you told me a little bit about your business. It's not a tiny business, right?
No, it's I think we are one of, if not the largest sheet provider in North America. And we now run 14 plants. And it's been a very fast-growing, fast-paced business for us, and we are probably the largest supplier of the independent sheet converters in the U.S.
So, and the sheet converting business is basically that you make sure that you deliver the sheets to the box makers across the U.S. so they can make the boxes for whatever their customers have of requirements, right?
Exactly. We provide them the raw materials, and we partnered up with a lot of people in the U.S., a lot of individual private companies, really to try and give them the raw materials and give them a competitive advantage in the marketplace. And it's the model has worked out pretty well so far. We have a lot of partnerships, and our business continues to expand. We're putting in 4 new corrugators this year, which is an undertaking we've never done before, all BHS, and it's pretty exciting for us. So.
If you look at the market, you mentioned yourself that you have been with BHS and been in Europe many times. Do you see a huge difference in the approach to the corrugated market in the US and, for example, Europe?
I don't see a huge difference in the approach to it. I think it's capital-wise, the European seems to be a little more capital-intensive. They, between not only the corrugator but the converting equipment as well as the high bay storage, some things like that go along with it. That seems to be pretty a little more substantial than what we typically do in the U.S. But it's a great place for us to come and see some of the newer things where people are willing to spend more capital than typically we are in the U.S. and for us to learn and really understand some of the things, and particularly now with the digital printing and what BHS is doing right now is a new market and a new opportunity for us we're very excited about.
One of the things, because I had the opportunity to go to Schumacher, where you're going to see in a moment, right? One of the things we saw yesterday was also how they are using AVGs more and more, because both the size of the reels, but also the difficulties with the labor. Is that something that you see in your plants as well?
It's probably the number one struggle we have right now in the U.S. is labor, and particularly the clamp truck management, moving rolls, very difficult because it's a skilled position that if you don't have good skills at it, you damage a lot of paper. So
and potentially people as well, right?
Oh, so it is a very high priority for us to say, how can we do something like this that would help us reduce labor? And it's not that we're trying to eliminate labor. We're just trying to be able to fill positions that are unavailable. We have positions in the U.S. we can't fill.
But as you said yourself, I mean, when you are in a company that expands and grow, you obviously need some resources to be able to produce and manufacture. And sometimes robots and AVGs are the only viable solution. Do you use AVGs today?
We do not use them today. This is why we're excited. It's like for us, like I said, we have 4 new corrugators going in, and we don't have any of the vehicles that we're going to be able to see today that'll be in there. So for us, this is a great opportunity for that. And we're also working with BHS Robotics in the U.S. as well for some things for applying dunnage and just some of the newer technologies we can, either to make it, not necessarily to replace labor, to make less some of the work, the job duties we have in the plant less labor intensive, so they're not so physically demanding, and it makes it a little easier for the people.
And I was so stupid, I said AVG, I think it's HEV actually.
Yeah.
That is like the abbreviations, right?
Yeah. You got it.
Today, you're also going to see a digital printing device that is pretty stunning to see. I can promise you that. Is that something that has an interest to Schwarz as well?
Yes, both in the monochrome and the multicolor. We've gone back a couple of years ago. Actually, it's been about 3 years ago. We did an initial trial, very first I think in the U.S. to actually print on the corrugated live on a corrugator. We did that in a very limited way, but it's something that we see as a huge potential for our customers in both just the monochrome to being able to print registered print, things like that. But also we're looking in some specific higher end markets for the high graphics, because we serve all those markets right now.
Yeah, and I think there's a tendency that because the quality on corrugated, both, I mean, from microfluid to let's say more packaging kind of material, and the print quality that you can see actually just from this press, I mean, I think that the traditional folding carton market should be a little bit threatened, right?
Yes, I think it's there's going to be a lot of melding of capabilities, and what you're going to see is the old cardboard, or call it carton board, whatever you want. I think that with this ability with lightweight printing, some different flutes now that are coming out, F flute, G flute, some things that are very different. I think there's going to be a meld and where they all compete in that certain market.
So now it's just about to go to shoe market to see how it works in reality, right? But I hope you will be excited about it.
We're definitely excited about it, to see how it works and then to understand the details behind it. I mean, today I would expect that we'll be excited after we see it, and then the interesting thing is, how do you make that happen? What do you do, and what are all the underlying processes that you need to take to get from a vision to make it happen? And that's really what we really want to understand.
And last question, I take also, if that is interesting, you will have to do some calculations to figure out a business plan, right?
Yes, and we are currently working on that right now. That's the thing that we're pretty far along on, that we're excited about it. We think it's a new frontier for us in the U.S. in the digital print, and some opportunities we'll be able to bring to our customers, partners, that'll keep us in the forefront of things to come in the future.
Congratulations and all the best.
Thank you very much.